Hello, everybody. My name is Victor Luna. I am with Life's a Dance charity benefit, and I am thrilled to be here to discuss this year's event, this 2026. This is number 15 for myself, and I am thrilled to have a ton of announcements. But first of all, I'd love to introduce my beautiful wife, Melanie Luna.
Hi, everyone. My name is Melanie Luna, and I'm the co-founder of Life's a Dance Studio, as well as Life's a Dance, Pensacola's benefit dance, charity show, I guess you could say. But not only that, but there's so much more that goes into it, and I'm thrilled as well. Lots of thrills going on to hear what more that Victor has to say.
Absolutely. I think for myself, I want everybody to know one of the impacts or passions that I love about dance is just being able to bring it into this amazing community here in Pensacola. I love to bring the art of dance here in Pensacola. It's such a cultural city here, and I think everybody in the United States loves that and tries to bring it, but I think we just thrive in it as well. And we have some huge announcements to make within this show, and we've been waiting to do it for such a long time. So we're very excited to name our beneficiary, which is going to be Capstone of Pensacola, right?
Woo-hoo.
I think,
Yes.
we're super excited. We've got some members here with, as in Kiera Washington and Mr. James here to talk and give us some of their insight. But first of all, we'd like to start with Dr. Bill Goldsmith, and who is on the board at Capstone, and discuss a little bit of what he thinks about necessarily Capstone in the show itself. So welcome, Dr. Bill Goldsmith. How are you?
Good. Thanks, Vic.
Thank you for
Great
being
to be
here.
And I think not only that, with him being on the board of Capstone, but also being on the board of Life's a Dance.
Yeah.
So thank you so
Yes.
much for
Nope,
pouring your
absolutely.
heart
Thank you for
into
adding
even
it.
more of the community.
Thank you for adding it. Yes. I mean,
Yes.
it's so interesting how he's sort of came into this role, and first of all, danced last year, crushed it with his wife Karen, and then now helping us thrive in this as well, and being a part of the decision to bring Capstone to Life's a Dance as well too. I think it's tough because him and I, every time we discuss it, we start getting a tear in our eyes, and just I want to encourage everyone to please do that tour at Capstone. It will change your life. It will add goosebumps to it. It will remind you of what you should be blessed for and feel blessed. It's definitely reminded me of that. It reminds me of giving back more and just being conscious of that as well too.
Well, I think not only that, we can get caught up in our local celebrities doing the dances and seeing them on stage and being in the bright
100%.
lights and everything. But I think the focus most definitely needs to be on the beneficiary, which I am so glad and thrilled that it is Capstone, which is our most vulnerable community, honestly.
Well, I think speaking of that, before I start, why don't we let Kiera just talk a little bit about what Capstone actually is?
Oh,
Love
I
that.
love
Because I
that.
think
Yeah,
that'll
I love that.
set a
Yeah.
good
Well,
tone
First
for the
off,
rest
thank
of the
you for having
conversation.
me.
You are welcome.
My name
Thank
is
you for
Kiera
being here.
Washington. I am the executive lead of Capstone Adaptive Learning and Therapy Centers. Big name, but because we have many big programs. So with that, we do have let's start with the children. We have the preschool, which is 3 to 5 year olds. So it helps children with learning disabilities or developmental delays kind of get into their own self and be able to learn to the point of we actually have an 80% rate of a lot of them going into regular kindergarten.
That
And
is
some
amazing.
still go into kindergarten with supports.
Right.
And then we have a
Wow.
Milton Child Care Center. So you have like from infants to 5 year olds, so even the babies that get to go and spend their days with our wonderful director over there and kind of learning and getting into their own ways of walking and, playing with one another. And then I also, with the adults, we have adult day centers throughout Pensacola and Milton, and also 4 residential group homes throughout Pensacola. So that kind of sums up a little bit of what Capstone is.
Well, I
Kiera,
think
can I
you
just-
said it with there's a lot of big programs here.
Yes.
And a lot of them I'm plugged in with the county, I'm plugged in with the community, and I have not heard of a lot of these. So, which is even more why we need to have
Yes.
y'all at the forefront so we can know and understand this.
Yeah, and I have many people that come to me and they're like, we've seen somewhat of the kids, like we see the school,
Yeah.
but we didn't know you guys were all this. And
Yeah.
so that's what we're working on, trying to get our adults specifically to be known and be
Yes.
seen and be shown to this community.
So speaking of that, Kiera, what kind of challenges do the clients that come to Capstone have?
Mm.
Yeah, so I like to say that our clients are some that have fallen through the cracks of other providers. Meaning with that is that they are so extensive in their disabilities that many of the other providers look at them and they're like, I don't know if I can take care of them.
Yeah.
You know, we have clients that have diabetes, and you would think like, okay, a controlled insulin metric system to look at their glucose, but we work with agency persons of disabilities. That's where we're licensed through, but only certain medical personnel can administer that. And with us, we have direct care professionals. And with the direct care professionals, they are only limited to so many things that they can do on the medical standpoint, which is just giving medications. But what medications? It can't be anything that's inserted or even injected. So with that, we rely on, thankfully, we have a wonderful on-site nurse that's also an on-call nurse that she goes and she administers the insulin themselves, as well as there has been prior clients that have catheters. A lot of people, you know, in the group homes, that's very genuine task that they have to do, and some providers do not want to do it. So we like to take the ones that need help, need assistance, and help them.
No barriers. I like that. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. That's, gosh, so impactful at the same time. Let me ask you, since we'll go ahead and switch back over to you, Bill.
Yeah.
Being a board member, what made you want to be on the Capstone board?
You know, it was interesting. So Sherry asked me to be a board member. I mean, there was
this is Dr. Sherry White.
Dr. Sherry White. Yeah,
Executive
sorry about
director.
that. So,
Nope,
yeah,
you're
so
fine.
there was a physician that had been on the board that was leaving the board, and so she wanted to replace with a physician. But I've been involved as a supporter of Capstone for quite some time. You know, in our circle of friends, a lot of us are supporters of Capstone, and so it just kind of really was a natural progression. Whenever she asked me to be on the board, I was honored to do so, and it's been a great experience to get to know Capstone more, to be able to see, you know, not only what services I knew about, but the additional services that I had no idea that they offer. It's amazing.
So with that being said, let me ask you, what would you say is one of the moments, or what impacted you the most, that made it important, not necessarily just important, but almost absolute necessity for our community that
Yeah, I mean, so that's a good question. I think that, so there's not just one moment, it's been a lot of moments over the years.
Awesome.
So that's number one. I think, like Melanie said, these are forgotten people.
100%. Yeah, it's tough to.
I know.
Yeah, it's.
I can only imagine how emotional it can get. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
And as somebody that sees patients every single day, you know, that's one of the passions I think I have. That, you know, I'm not a doctor, but I feel like I can bring something to the table to help with that at the same time. And I think one of my stories is that I'll just quickly share with that is, you know, being able to bring some names to Pensacola, and being able to raise funds and some awareness and great vibes and great energy. You know, people love shows here in Pensacola.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to, you know, once we got done with COVID, I think that's why Melanie and I started this show over again, was people just want to go somewhere to see a show. And that being said, let's raise some money for it at the same time. And
I was going to say, not just see a show, but be a part of it,
Yeah.
and be a part of the central messaging. And like what you were saying and going into, to be completely honest, like you saying that you and your circle of friends, we would not have known or poured into the Capstone community if it hadn't been for you.
Well, and I think, you know, to carry on what I was, you know, interrupted myself saying, you know, they have so little resources. And you know, a lot of these people are covered by Medicaid, but that doesn't cover the cost to take care of these people. And if the community doesn't, no one else is going to. And, you know, being part of the board to see how much they're able to do with so little, you know, financial resources, you know, you can't help but to try to bring that to everyone's attention and
to
try
fill
to
that
help
void.
that out. Exactly.
Well, I think on top of that, Commissioner Ashley Hoffberger in District 4, I am her aide, and her and I had a meeting with Andrea Geen, who lobbies for Capstone.
Yeah.
That's one of the main things. And just hearing some of the voids to fill, some of the basic necessities
Mhm.
that are not there, that they don't have. Even so, of having covers to go over the wall, so that way when someone has a wheelchair and it doesn't bang against it and leave a scuff mark, so then that way they don't get a knock on their record and
Right.
they have to close down or they have to do such and such. So there's so many different things that are so tiny and so nuanced that most people don't know about
Yeah.
unless they were told about or unless they were involved in or surrounded by, that they just don't know. And so it's so wonderful
Absolutely.
to know that and to hear that and to be able to bring it to the public.
Well, and not only that, I mean, there's more people that Capstone could help with the resources that aren't getting help now.
100%.
Right. Well, thank you for bringing it to
And-
us
and
and
Bill-
letting us have the opportunity.
Absolutely.
And Dr. Bill Goldsmith, thank you for being a tremendous and extremely amazing sponsor of this event as well too. You know, I got to add, you know, with that, you're helping not only Capstone, but you're bringing light to Life's a Dance and bringing so much joy to all of this as well too. And you know, we have some other sponsors to mention, but I definitely want to say that there's a big. This couldn't be possible without you.
Absolutely
honestly,
not.
without your passion, your emotion, your, you know, just your
You're you.
your love for it, and you know, I mean, it's so crazy. And I do have to add, your wife Karen as well too, as
Yes.
who's dancing in as well too, and maybe not able to do it in different ways, but her just putting herself out there on the dance floor, which
Absolutely.
is, I'll tell you,
Well, I'll tell you, I'm amazed that
It's
you were
tough.
able to get her to dance this year. You remember the first
yes,
the first time
Oh,
we met
she was
last
so
year.
wonderful.
I
She was
do.
so fantastic.
I
But
do.
she was
It's-
not about this. And then, you know, we had such a great time and got to know and love you guys so much that it was just easy to
Yeah.
carry it on this year.
Well, I hope that easiness and love continues, and we're able to continue this this role and this
Yeah.
streak. So
Well,
I
on
appreciate
that, just
having you
two
today.
things. One, not only are you a sponsor, but you're the Mirror Ball Platinum sponsor.
Wow.
So thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
And then two, in my opinion, it's incredibly easy for anyone to dance whenever they have
Well, that is
Victor
true.
teaching them.
That is
Because the
very
one thing
true.
I will say about him, and I've been in a dance practice where he's teaching me and he's bringing it to something that I know and love, and I just stop and I look at him and I go, you're good. Okay. You're good. Now
She's my
now
wife,
I
so
see.
she's
Now I
paid.
see.
She's has to say.
So that's the biggest thing that I know
Well,
and
I
I,
think
love about
that's,
him.
you know-
He'll make anyone and everyone look like a professional.
Well, and
For
not only
sure.
that,
Which is what you and Karen look like. So
well, and have fun at it.
and that
You know,
part too.
I mean, I've told Vic this many times, you know, Karen and I would be arguing on the way to dance practice
This is a good story. This is a very good story.
and have such a great time that
Yeah.
we'd forget what we were arguing about.
Yeah.
And we'd go home and we're like, oh, just go on with our evening and forget what the issues
Yeah.
were. But that's the importance of something like
Absolutely.
dance
Yeah.
to be able
Yeah,
to.
and that's
I-
what I
I-
love too
yeah.
about whenever couples or married couples come and they have the dance practice, because one, it's automatic date night, you know.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
true.
second to that, Vic isn't just teaching a choreographed dance that you're going to go on stage and you're just going to regurgitate and you're just
Mhm.
going to run through the motions. He's actually teaching you how to dance. So when you go on a cruise or you go on a date or you're just in the kitchen, you're
Yeah.
going to dance and you're going to have a good time doing it. So that's what I
true.
love, like creating memories and then also creating impact.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Bill
Yeah,
Goldsmith.
no, absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Sounds so funny saying that. So professional. But honestly, thank you so much, not just as it professionally, personally, but as a good friend as well too.
Well,
Like,
I mean, and I
can't-
think as a
can't-
member of Capstone's board and as a member of the community, thank you guys for doing this because, you know, we've talked about there's so much potential synergy between the two organizations, and you know, it opens up opportunities for Capstone. You know, as far as people getting to know who they are, that they would have never had that opportunity before, and here now they're going to be at the Bay Center, you know, with all kinds of, you know, people talking about Capstone and a lot of people there watching the show. So it's gonna be great for them.
Yeah, and you know, I think now that you said that, everybody's going to be able to see this, hear this the night of the show.
Mhm.
So we're excited to have everybody listen to all this information, sort of see what we've created within all of this,
Absolutely.
and yeah,
You're going to
we're-
hear it even louder because Hanto and Clark is going to have little extra sound
Yes,
implements.
we
I will
have
not
we-
state as to what exactly, because
Yes.
it'll be a nice little surprise for the night up. But we're very thankful
Yeah.
for them as bringing that into the mix. So
100%.
yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I want to go over some exciting news. Like I said, we have not just Capstone as our beneficiary and what we want to sort of bring all of our efforts and passion to is, but we haven't been able to go over a lot of what we're going to have actually in this show. And obviously I think I'm the only person that, since I'm the one that puts all this together, to be able to say all this, but we're so fortunate to be able to bring Brian Austin Green, an actor from 90210, if you remember, and just has,
For those of us my age.
yeah, for all those that are, what is that, 80s, 90s, genre. At the same time, he is going to be hosting the show with my beautiful wife, Melanie. And then a great friend of mine, Sharna Burgess, who has been on Dancing with the Stars for multiple years. She is a Mirrorball Trophy winner. She is not just a professional dancer, but she's also a judge on the Australian Dancing with the Stars. And just, let me tell you, an amazing human being. She has already poured in so many calls and text messages just regarding Capstone and Life's a Dance as well too. And if you're a fan of Life's a Dance, you've seen her here 4 other times. So the last time she was here was, I think, in 2018 or 17, something like that, dancing with Tony Devolani. But very passionate, and again, I would remind everybody, the tour at Capstone is something to see, to experience. Her and Brian will be there with us the week of the show to do that. And we have some other surprises as well too. We have some other celebrities that we'll shortly hear announce. That being said, we need to get back to Capstone, and let's get back to Kiera. Let me ask you, Kiera, what are some of the stories that you have that maybe have that have been impactful with you within maybe one of the clients or one of the even just the employees there at the same time? Because we have an amazing employee here that are going to speak shortly.
There are so many stories and so many clients I could go through in just all the years I've worked at Capstone, but a really good testament to what Capstone is and what Capstone does would be our lovely Miss Faith. Miss Faith was brought to us under awful circumstances and she was living in a home where DCF had to get called, and they took the kids out of that home, but they didn't look at the disabled adult because she's an adult. And so thankfully, there is a thing called support coordinators. So your support coordinators take care, basically, kind of like not your life coach, but ensure that your Medicaid is up to date, that you are receiving everything that's necessary. But she had a wonderful support coordinator that kind of reached out to us and goes, listen, she's in a home where kids are being taken because of the unsafe environment, but she is not. And she clearly is not of any health to be in this home. So thankfully, with the support coordinator and other Capstone staff, we were able to retrieve Miss Faith from this environment. Faith came to us at only 84 pounds. And Goodness. She, I want to say, is maybe 5'8", a little 5'6" to 5'8". Mm-hmm. So that's highly, very underweight. And she really, and from hearing from the people that were able to pick her up, she has selective mutism. So she says words when she wants to, but she really is very much quiet. And when we got her, she was just a shell of herself. And when they picked her up, she didn't say much, but one thing, she looked at them and said, bath. And that immediately was like, oh man, she wasn't able to even receive that in home, which for us, we get to bathe every day if we really wanted to, or twice a day. But for her, she used her words to say something that she was really needing. And so we were able to place her in a home, get her everything that she needed. And she actually also attends our ADT program. So when she got there, she was around a lot of people and she kind of went into herself. And she has this, not stim, but a certain comfort where she puts her hand over her mouth. Yeah. And she kind of closed in on herself and sat on one of our repositioning mats for, I want to say, months. And then slowly she kind of started to get up from that.
Come out of the shell.
Come
right?
out of her shell, be able to laugh. She got to laugh again, and she says words. She got to say words,
How
mama,
cool
dada.
is
She's
that?
actually around, I want to say 104 pounds now. So we were able to get her more. Actually, she probably weighs more than that. She's very healthy. She's healthy as a horse. And on top of that, we also were able to get her glasses, things of that. And she's just all bright smiles because she can also see now, and she's able to be, and she's actually, we have, two different in our East Street location, our ADT program. We have a room called the repositioning room, but that's also more so where our extensive clients kind of stay and get repositioned. But we also have a certain like classroom leveled with classroom activities, but anyone's welcomed of our clients to go in there. And she kind of graduated per se from going to the repositioning room where she more so felt more comfort in being on that repositioning mat to sitting and having a best friend in class.
That's
and
awesome.
yes,
What a
it's
success
just, and
story.
she will see you and giggle and laugh. And she, actually, when she came to us, I forgot to mention that she was in a wheelchair. She was very unhealthy of herself to even walk. And she's been able to gain that function back and be able, she actually runs. So, and we try to catch her all the time, because once she sees either if the lunchroom is open or if her bus is here to go home, she will run out there. But
Wow.
she will stop and
You've turned her into a beast, huh?
Absolutely. But
That's
she'll
hilarious.
still stop
That's
and
awesome,
laugh
too, at
and
the
say
same
hi
time.
to you. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a testament of what we do at Capstone. So definitely, we gave faith to faith.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's just one story.
That's just one
Just
story,
one.
exactly. I'll say to add that to when I went on the tour there, I think, and sort of bringing these two worlds together as in a collaboration. I think I walked in there, music was being played. Everybody was doing the same thing I do when I hear music, nodding my head, rather tapping my hands, my feet. Being from a family that plays the drums, yeah, you're just getting down to the beat, right? And
Yeah.
everybody, I have learned, does it in their own way.
No, absolutely.
Everybody has their own way, and I think that when I walked in, it was such a amazing feeling that like I felt like, oh, this is such a great space. What do you think? Do you see on a daily basis, I guess, or what do you think of this collaboration with dancing, ballroom dancing, any
This
genre dance with
collaboration,
Capstone?
I am so excited for. I think it's absolutely amazing. And, when it comes to, I like that whole, it's a cliche, but, dancing to the beat of your own drum. Or our clients literally walk their own path. They are on their own beat, but we're able to kind of meet them with the same rhythm, like the same frequency.
Just so you know, I've been doing this for like 30 years. I still have my own beat.
Yes, absolutely.
I still have my own drum.
Yeah, exactly.
I still snap different.
So, yeah. So for this to happen, it's kind of like us being able to meet them where they're at, to get to their frequency, to dance to their beat with them.
Yeah.
And that's not really seen. They don't really meet a lot of people that will meet them where they are. And so I think that this is just a wonderful, awesome opportunity. And our clients, of course, love music. They love to dance, and it doesn't matter. Like when we actually have monthly dance, like a dance event that they go to. And we have one client, Miss Sarah, she's nonverbal. She has a vocal stem where it's just kind of, and she will throw herself down and hurt herself. But and people are like, oh, she won't like the dance. Like she loves the dance. And even if it's her form of dancing is sitting right next to the speaker and putting her hands in the air and just moving her hands. And
so
she'll
cool.
do that for hours if we allow her to. But we got to get like, come on. And then if she's like pizza, she'll get up, but then she'll go back because music is just.
Music does
you
that
can feel
for everyone. I think everybody that just been doing this and teaching amateurs to do a charity event. I've heard so many people say it's not that important to learn to dance. It's not that important to dance. And I go, music is important. Music is amazing, right? So I think that's what brings us all together, regardless of our surroundings, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So that being, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, to your point, it's a common language. It doesn't matter what your abilities are. It's a common language everybody speaks.
100%.
What 100%? I think. I mean, that wraps everything up to some degree,
Tell
right?
a story about the kids that were dancing in our
Yeah. So
tour.
we're excited about having a couple from Capstone clients, I guess you'd say,
Yes.
perform at our show. I don't want to give a lot away, but I will tell you that I have not seen a more passionate, heartfelt partnership in such a long time. It meant so much just seeing that in such that little surroundings that I looked at one of my other Dancing with the Stars friends and we just looked at each other like, this is so beautiful. It was crazy. It without getting too emotional about it, we had chills on our arms. It was great. The way they addressed each other, and then that's what this is about as well too. About this is the enjoyment of whatever the dance is. That's actually why I came up with the name of the show, Life's a Dance, because it is a dance. And if you keep doing it, I think I keep saying to myself, I'm going to do this forever because I don't want to let the old man in. You know what I mean? At the same time. That being said, we have somebody else to bring to the table. We have Mr. James here from Capstone, who I just adore. I think listening to his story and his testimony just brought it all full circle. So Kiera, listening to you tell me about the odds and ends and what you've experienced, and then the formalities of Capstone, and then hearing it just from like his heart. Like, I want to introduce Mr. James. Mr. James, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Let me ask you, how long, first of all, introduce yourself. How long have you been with Capstone?
My name is James Long. I've been with Capstone for 8 months. Moved to the Pensacola area 17 years ago. Interesting story, Kiera being here. And she is, if you're feeling her heart and what she's sharing with you, that is very genuine, because it is that same heart that brought me to Capstone. My mother passed away recently, and I'm from Miami, born and raised. Law enforcement, 24 years, was a sergeant there, relocated to the Pensacola area. And when my mother passed away, my sister, who is 2 years older than I am, I have a special needs nephew. Her youngest of her 3 sons is special needs. Well, obviously, her being a parent of a special needs, her relocating, the concern for her was there going to be a place for my nephew? Which I totally understood. So we began to do our due diligence, and we came across Capstone. So my wife and I initially did the tour for my sister, and they were gracious enough to allow us to video tour with my sister because she wasn't able to be there in person. Mm-hmm. But again, with regards to the security of the other students who are there, they were like, would you please not video them? And it was like, of course, us having my nephew.
Correct, yeah.
I totally understood that sensitive nature of it, so we respected that. We took the tour, and I was so moved and impressed with the level of love, because I expressed to them when we did the tour, I wasn't interested in finding a professional place for my nephew to be. I was looking for extended family. Mm-hmm. That's what I felt from Capstone. So when my sister was able to come up, we were totally taken with the place. My wife and I had that conversation going back home, and we, over the next couple of days, we did that. My sister then took, a vacation time to come up to take that tour. When we took the tour, one of the parts that was so impressive to me was we did the tour of the facility, but then when we did the residential side, here you have Kiera, who is chief number 2, who is now my supervisor. She was also at the residence.
Nice.
And to me, that was dynamic. Here you had this young person with all this energy and this love. That it totally impressed the entirety of my wife, my sister, and I. The passion by which she's speaking today it's dwarfed by what we experienced on that tour. It was so moving that I am 24 years retired from law enforcement, the seminar industry, and driving 4 years with my oldest child being my boss back in the employment business because of this young lady to my left. Awesome. It was amazing.
That is such an amazing story. I mean, this listening to you and your voice and your passion, I think, is such a blessing, man. Let me tell you, because I've been doing this for such a long time, and I think I gravitate to people that just have a passion for whatever it is they do. I'm from a military background. My father was a drill sergeant. I think anything I did was and needed to be, very you're going to do it 100% or not. And I think to have, first of all, you three, and of course my wife as well too, here today is just a huge blessing for me. Let me tell you, to be around such people that just give, and let me tell you, I know you know this, but to give to others is such an amazing thing to have around you. So I feel better being in this room, being with all of you at the same time. And I think that we're super excited about this show. I'm looking forward to what everybody sees that I've created it within my head and everything that we see tonight. So thank you all. God bless. Love you.